This is episode 295. Let's see your amp modeler do this.
Ceases to exist. We're talking about pedals. Wait, hang on. Pedals about songs? No, pedals.
Pedals that are songs.
Yes. Quiet loudspeakers.
Yep. Literally true.
Literally true. And I should just start over.
No, let's keep it.
No, and that's it, really. I mean, it's I don't know. Who's it for?
It's better than it's better than it sounds when we just recap it. So the point is, tease.
Yeah, that's in this episode of the Tone Control number 295. We'll see you in there, sucker.
All right.
Hello.
Hello.
How are we?
Who's ready for another episode of complaining about the adulting we have to do? Brought to you by Justin and Derek.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how much I feel like complaining.
I don't know. I had a weird bad day. It was fine. It was just a quiet day. Not but there's some stuff going on at work. I'll leave out of the show. That's just sucks.
Not happy stuff. Damn.
No, and it's hard to focus at work. So it makes for a whole day of that. And
yeah.
But whatever, it's fine. I'm fine. Yeah, I don't know. Summer.
Yeah.
Summer's really here now.
It's really here. Oh my God. It was horrible. Last week was ridiculous. It's a little bit better now. There's some rain has started coming through. But the heat dome of North America has been crazy. Our house is on the market and it is so different than the last time we sold a house where it was on the market for a second and then we had 13 offers and everyone scheduled showings for the very first day and everyone's fighting over it. Well, that has been, the market peaked and we might have missed the last good sale week by 2, maybe 3 weeks. We're going to be fine. But now it's nobody feels like rushing. There's been a bunch of showings. They're more spread out. It's been, many days now. And multiple buyers have told us we intend to put in an offer. But one of them then went on a vacation and maybe is just taking their time. Another one's we needed to ask for a higher number on our pre-approval. We'll get back to you. So we're sort of beholden to the bank.
So there's that. There's movement.
Yeah, but I don't have any of the offers, so it's and then today there was a showing scheduled. It's I still have to keep my house ready to pick up my dogs and hide for an hour,
Yeah.
And we're really going for it, right? So we've decorated the whole place. I get rid of all the stuff off my kitchen. I wipe everything down. I make it smell nice. I vacuum, so there's vacuum lines in the carpet. Really just you know what I mean? Those things where it's sparkle. I put the sparkle on it every time I leave the house because it's what if I'm gonna get an email and have to sweep in and so I'm always I want to be 10 minutes from being able to do that at all times, and that's irritating me. But
I would find that irritating.
It sort of sucks, but
yeah.
Shouldn't be too much longer.
Know. You'll get there. Yeah, I mean, it's also house sale peaks and valleys often align with school schedules too. So with summer being here, it might. I don't know. It'll happen.
I think people like to do their thing a little earlier in the summer, but this is just when it had to happen. And I did a recording session today at Monastery, which was a podcast recording, which is kind of cool little thing. Very chill, no non-pressure, just like working with us, like recording the host segments for a podcast, basically. And really we're able to work through it and like, oh, give that to me, multiple deliveries of the same line, making sure it comes out right, this kind of thing. And Aria has no camp this week, so I was like, why doesn't she just come with me? So she got to see the studio, which is cool, and then she just sort of like hung around playing Switch and stuff in the back for a couple of hours, and she was very good.
Not bad, though.
All went well.
Not bad. Not a bad summer activity there. You know, bring your kid to work day and stay busy.
Yep. So, it was fine, except for the nonsense of having to keep the house ready for a showing. But other than that,
that's frustrating.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Cool. I'm trying to think of what else is going on here. Nothing really,
what
I guess.
What else that you actually want to air?
Yeah, like there's stuff that I probably shouldn't really be putting out there, that's all. But Beth's doing well, baby 2 is doing great. The clock is ticking. I've been starting to get ready for the local con and stuff like that, thinking about making moves on like what I'm going to be. I'm actually fidgeting now with a test print of Chopper's front tire. This is a 50% scale version that I made out of a fancy material that I can squeeze and it will rebound. Yeah, it's made from TPU. So I have a couple and I made them out of different, basically like different internal structures to see like which would be stronger. I made this tennis ball out of it as well. This is so dense though, I can't really squeeze it, but it does bounce like a motherfucker. But it's cool. So all kinds of things are made out of TPU, including like most bumpers on phone cases.
Yeah, I was going to say
like
this,
the rubber
this phone
edge,
case is
commonly
definitely
TPU. Yeah,
the back is definitely something different, but
yeah, I've been kind of on this kick of making small tokens, I guess, or coins for that hold an NFC tag. I think I've talked about this. in the past. Yeah. So I've been like making. Yeah, I put the STLs up on MakerWorld. I'm like getting really handy and really fast by how to make these using Tinkercad, and so I've been making a bunch. So I've got like a whole box of prototypes here that I've been like rapid iterating on. And it's been a blast.
Nice.
I have like finally some, I got like things on the back that say like, scan me, bro. Right? Like I'm learning all these things about how to embed text and making my own, like this is a freaking cool ass thing. It's a Grand Inquisitor icon. So I don't know like what I'm going to do with them, but I don't know. They're fun to make because I can make, they print in like 25 minutes. And then I get to paint this like cool little thing, and then I have a cool little thing that I painted, and then like that's a very rewarding cycle.
That's a fun line. And then I get to paint a cool.
paint this cool little thing I made. Yeah. So I'm getting weird with like what am I looking for? They might not be in this box. I'm making like weird filament choices and stuff, and it works as a good opportunity for me to like experiment with material and techniques and things, and I can just whip one up real quick. And usually, if I hand it to someone, they're like, "Oh, sick!" They just put it in their pocket. So it's fun.
Sick,
fun.
That's awesome. I'll tell you what I'm mad about, and this I'll let ride for the whole podcast, just so you know what mood I'm cleverly disguising. Is my wife told me that I am not allowed to watch the Project Hail Mary trailer, and I have for some reason abided by that. Under threat of divorce, and
Justin,
she's definitely not going to be.
Watch it twice, right?
I know, but if she will know.
She will detect that you've seen
it already? She will detect that I've seen it already. And
so
at this point, it's been so many hours, and I'm probably only 2-3 hours from when she'll be home.
Okay. Yeah, I mean.
So I feel like I'm almost, at this point, I've come around from, I'm just going to fucking watch it. Fuck you.
However, I say you wait, and then if in the event she says it's too late, let's watch it tomorrow.
Oh, that
you get to bring the hammer down.
I told her already, basically.
Absolutely the fuck not.
She called on the phone earlier, and I said she's mega excited about it too. Like, there's no way she's going to let it go. But I said, you are in debt right now, lady.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know what that means yet, but you will.
Yeah.
So I think I've committed to it. At this point, I'm going to do the thing she wants, and I'm going to see what I can get out of that later.
Worth it. It's a movie trailer.
It's a movie trailer, so it's going to be there. Whatever. I'm an adult. I can last. But I am very excited about
internally, right?
Yeah, exactly. I've been waiting so long for this. Anyway,
I know. It does. Never mind. You know what? Never mind.
Exactly.
Never mind.
Exactly. We have a bit of show here. There's some guitars. It turns out there's guitars in the world.
So I have actually a little bit of a question, for the room that we can kick off with. You want to give me a sound?
Derek. Nobody's listening. Okay.
Whoa.
Okay.
I feel like I probably did this.
Yeah. I feel like it sounds like it could be the pedal we're going to talk about later.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, maybe.
It wasn't, because that pedal didn't exist. That was a long one. I let it go, though, because it was rad. All right.
So, as you know, I'm going to be getting this new Helix later this year. Those are out for pre-order at the big shops like Sweetwater and Guitar Center and stuff like that. So I'm looking around at that today, looking at like the bundles that they're doing and what's included, the backpack, like all this stuff, and kind of again thinking, it's been 2 weeks since I've really looked at this. So thinking about like, what is it that I'm going to sell? What's the deal? What do these look like on Reverb right now? Because I don't know what the Strymon timeline is actually going for on the street. So I'm looking into that. Sweetwater Gear Exchange is something that we've talked about on the show in the past. It's a gear marketplace run by Sweetwater that's like for used stuff you can sell like you would on Reverb. The cool thing about it is if you choose to get paid via Sweetwater gift cards, there's 0% there's no fees or anything. There's no seller fees. There's no transaction fees. There's none of that. So you get the full listing price of your thing, so long as you are getting store credit at Sweetwater. It's cool, right? That's a good idea. Caveat to that: it is only for Sweetwater proper. It is not for. It's not a gift card that can also then be used on Gear Exchange. It's only for net news. So like small detail. But I'm coming into this like. Gonna buy a Helix, so like I'm gonna sell a bunch of things. Of course, like a gift card set wouldn't be the worst way to do this. So not nearly as much stuff on Gear Exchange. In fact, there are no Strymon timelines currently for sale. And I'm really curious if that's an advantage or not. Right? There's something like I put the numbers in Discord this morning. In the effects and pedals category, there's like over 100,000 listings active on Reverb right now. And on Sweetwater Gear Exchange, there's like 2,200. It's like a whole factor smaller. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm really curious now. Is that advantageous for anyone? Or is it just a thing? I'm not really sure because people don't really go there. But to be the only one selling a certain thing on the platform, does that have value? Like this PRS amp, there's one for sale on Gear Exchange from a local guitar shop type of place for the price. There's one though. There's only one listed on all of Gear Exchange. So I could undercut it like no problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That seems like, I don't know. That seems kind of interesting to me. But then it's still just fewer eyes.
Yeah, that's interesting. So I just tried to pull up Gear Exchange, and I went to the Gear Exchange page, and then I thought I was clicking on the category, but it took me right back to regular Sweetwater.
Oh.
And I'm starting to see what the problem might be with why there's so few eyes. Because I kind of thought, what does this look like? I kind of want to see it on my end. So what am I missing here? Why are they making this hard to find?
Well, hang on. Let me find it.
I'll click it again. It hadn't taken me to the right spot. So they showed me a page that said Gear Exchange, but it wasn't the Gear Exchange. Okay.
Oh.
Now I'm back. Now I can click effects and pedals, and now I see, 2,200 results. Okay, great.
Yeah. What's interesting, too, is they are putting how long you've been a Reverb, how long you've been a Sweetwater customer on the listing. So
they're letting you derive cred from that.
Yeah, so here's a Boss RV6 for $105 plus $15 shipping. Sweetwater customer since 2011. Like that tells me that this guy's a real human. That's a nice factor.
Well, that's pretty good, right? Because what we have here is it's that cred that you have to build up over time on a platform. It's like, how many times have you sold on eBay?
Right.
But they made a brand new platform and they thought, well,
we have a bunch of users.
We have cred. Yeah, we have cred we can impart to you, you know. And then I see another one. I see a used Digitech pedal here that doesn't have the tag at all. A couple of other things. So these might be people who aren't customers yet, and they don't get the blue checkbox.
Right. It's almost like the little verified check on social media.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just sort of thinking like, can I get more money? Yes, I can get more money on Gear Exchange because of this 0% thing. But like, what's the play? Is the play to double list and then on Reverb say it's 7.7% cheaper on Gear Exchange?
Is Reverb going to be okay with that?
I don't know.
If they find out,
like, how would they know?
Notice?
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's just interesting Reverb has to have stuff that's like, I sold it elsewhere or I sold it in person from this listing. They still get you on like fees and stuff. So anyway, it's just crossed my mind today as like, oh, this is very different somehow that I didn't realize. Like, it's just the audience, the number of eyes is so much smaller than Reverb. And like, what does that translate to?
Yeah, it's interesting that you can't spend your Sweetwater bucks in the Gear Exchange. That's probably smart on their part.
I think it's probably because, like, the
money would just stay in gift cards forever.
Well, yeah, that, and I think it's because the person selling it is not Sweetwater.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It would be kind of nice of them, though, to play it forward as they try to build out this platform. I think that's the negative is like you're saying, this is a lot less popular. Don't you want to do something about that? But they must have calculated this. They have to take the money out of the butter churn eventually, kind of thing is what they must think,
I guess. But I don't know. I was still thinking about it. I need a bunch of this gear.
Seems like you should give it a shot. I think you should give it a shot, right? Like, see what happens for a week or two.
Yeah, because like the timeline is just collecting dust. Like, I'm not gonna be using it, so I can pretty easily list something just passively and just say like, it's up.
See what's up. Yeah.
If it's there. Like so, I'm trying to just find the best avenue for like the most, I don't know, a seamless process with all this, but it's hard to explain, I guess. So
what do you when do you get to choose whether you take the gift card or not?
I don't know.
So I don't know if this probably doesn't matter as much as I think it does. It just popped in my head that like if you're selling several things, you can take the gift card until you get up to $2,200 or whatever it is the stadium's going to cost. And then, now you can have your fee and I'll extract my money out of it. You know what I mean? This is all I wanted to spend on Sweetwater.
No, I don't think I think it's per item. So I think it would be.
But if you could choose by the time some of them have sold, anyway, whatever. This is kind of a stupid thing to talk about.
I think it's basically like if I sold the timeline or whatever, if I sold this whatever for $100, they would issue me payment in the form of $100 gift card code right then.
Yeah. Right. I don't think so. You would have decided when you set the listing or something, probably.
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess, and you can still get paid like to your bank like normal. That's still an option. They just have fees like Reverb does. So. Yeah,
that's kind of what I was wondering. Is like you could decide: do I want the fees on this, or have I gotten enough money out of it, kind of thing, at the time.
That's a great question. Actually, I don't know, but I imagine it must be.
Not that you wouldn't eventually spend your Sweetwater credit.
Yeah.
So anyway, whatever.
Anyway,
it seems good. It seems like a good deal, and I would think
I'll check it out.
Your credentials ought to look pretty good on there.
Yeah, I gotta
What does yours say?
Let's find out.
How long have I been a Sweetwater customer? God, at least a decade.
Well, it's like I've known of Sweetwater for centuries, but I also don't know when I actually have first made a purchase. You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's see.
My password is very short for this.
I don't. Why is my password manager not friggin' doing the thing it's
it
supposed
doesn't
to?
like it? Oh, no.
Gah!
Hold on.
All right, well, cut all this out.
Dashboard. Where would I see this? 2010. I'm 2010.
Nice. There you go. That's some pretty good cred.
Yeah.
I like that.
I knew it was at least a decade.
I think it must be around there somewhere for me. Oh, hang on. I got to get my 2-factor code, you guys. For my Sweetwater account.
I declined.
I'm here for that.
I'm here for that,
but I'm also like, God damn it. All right. View your profile. Where do I see this?
So I went to dashboard. It was at the top of dashboard.
2009.
Whoa, you beat me. Nice.
Top of the dashboard? Wait, is that right?
Oh, that's what I clicked on. I don't know.
Yeah, 2009. Woo, look at all these zeros. 0 purchases, 0 sales. Anyway, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would look pretty legit.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I like the idea of trying. I think it's a very good plan, and I think it could work out very well. Because those fees, they friggin' add up. You're selling,
they're closing in on like 8%.
If you're gonna rack up $2,000 or so worth of gear sales, that's a lot of money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so to not undercut, but to like undercut, reverb a little bit. They have the power. They're flexing the advantage they have. Absolutely. Yeah. So anyway, so let's keep going.
All right, let's keep going. That one's one of mine.
So you like Deftones, Justin?
I've been known to like Deftones. I know about cleverly everything in the show notes for this episode I had seen, and I was like, oh, I'm glad he put that in there. I saw that. I'm glad he put that, because I was like, I thought this should go on our next podcast, and then like got busy or something, and I turned back up, and Derek's like, he's right there. Anyway,
here we go. So
here we friggin' go.
The Digital Bath by Deftones by KHDK. Just the correct and only way to explain the name of this pedal.
Do I remember what KHDK is?
It's Kirk Hammett's line of things. Although I couldn't find anything about the original on the website.
That's why I asked, because before this, I called up stuff before we started the recording, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Kirk Hammett's thing. I thought it was like sort of a signature pedal thing, and I looked through and I couldn't find anything attaching it to him except those letters.
So here it is. It's the Ghoul Screamer. That was that first one.
Okay, that was the original. I was like, I thought I recognized this, but yeah.
It's a tube screamer, but
which turns out
I'm pretty sure that had started with Kirk Hammett. Like, are we getting, oh my God.
Ghoul Screamer.
Are we being gaslit?
Oh yeah, it's got a bunch of switches. I think, didn't he launch with like 3? I think it was
just this.
Was it just this? And then maybe shortly after, because I feel like a couple of these, like Abyss and stuff, they came out with shortly thereafter.
Because he's the KH and
right. Right, exactly.
Anyway.
But now look at this shit, though. Like, are you looking through this pedal catalog? Before we get to the new one.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, most of this is sold out, by the way, so I guess they were just like limited runs. But the whole thing is fucking saturated with like signature pedals from other guitarists and other bands. Like, this became the thing that KHDK does, apparently.
Yeah, which I didn't know.
I didn't either. I was absolutely unaware of any of this. Okay, let's cut back.
So maybe is that all it was? Is that no? Because it's the name of the company. Never mind. I was going to say it was the Ghoul Screamer, the one with Kirk, but no, it's like KHDK. Anyway,
well, we don't understand. Dear Kirk, we don't understand this, and I know you don't care.
I know
we don't.
Whatever. Heads up: the first 150 Chino signed certificates for the Digital Bath have been sold out. Justin, sorry.
Oh, I'm already out of the running for scoring a Chino one. Why would it be Chino and not?
Chino played guitar on that track, or wrote the riff or whatever.
Okay, all right, fair, fine.
Yeah.
You know what? Good for him.
Fine. So, Digital Bath, right? I listened to it today for a refresher. Listened to most of White Pony for a refresher today. Yeah. Iconic, first of all. Mm-hmm. Still, just it came out what, 2000? Is that right?
Yep. I was definitely still in high school. Had to be 2000.
So that was like a little early for me. I didn't hear it when it came out, but listening to that kind of stuff now, I'm like, God, this would have just like, it would have gone off like a bomb. Like it was like the craziest.
I had gotten into Deftones, and now I'm trying to think of those early records. So the one that got big with God, I'm totally blanking on the name of the tunes, but the riff is in my head of the before White Pony, because White Pony is their third record. So I had done the like notice a band, get into it. I went and got the earlier record, and it was like that was the one that was like kind of rough,
Around the Fur.
Yes, that's the song.
That's the second one before White Pony.
Yes. So that was very, very excellent record. White Pony that's where they started to really lock on to what they were as a band. I feel like White Pony is when the sound of what Deftones is through their whole catalog kind of crystallized a little bit.
It became more refined, yeah.
Yeah.
And so this pedal sounds like that track. It sounds like Digital Bath. Submerge yourself into the ether. Yeah. Here comes the first ever pedal to capture the coveted digital bath sound. So,
which was probably just a mess of stuff at the time, but
probably. So it's a filter delay modulation pedal. It's got some like weird, trippy, blippy stuff that goes on delay wise, but then also some like phasing and chorusing and things that are happening modulation wise. They happen together. So
it says that Chino's using this on tour to play the song now. So there is official. So there, everybody. Good enough.
I saw this as a headline, and I was like, oh crap! Like, is this the next move with pedals as far as like sounds and chasing certain songs? Yeah, instead of artists exclusively or something, or albums maybe.
And if so, won't we get tired of that even faster?
I think we would. Yes, I think we would. So Catalan Bread has the Royal Albert Hall, RAH, like it's the sound of Led Zeppelin playing at Royal Albert Hall.
Sure it is.
This guitar amp is the one, the PRS one is like Hendrix at Woodstock, like that kind of thing. I don't know. I think we would get annoyed about this is the sound of White Pony, but this next one is the sound of Diamond Eyes or whatever.
Yeah. But it's not even, it's just the song, right? It's just the one song.
Yeah. It's just
like it's a distinctive for being a washy kind of bit of delay nonsense. It's a distinctive one. I don't mind this, but yeah, if I start seeing song titles in pedal names, it's going to get... Like, Jimmy Eat World could go crazy with this, right? They use a lot of different tones. They wouldn't be all that super creative all the time because they're just like slightly different distortions. Yeah. But like, wouldn't that be fun to be like...
I think we'd have to group it like early, mid, late career for an artist. Right? Like these first 3 albums are this pedal.
This is the level of shit, though, that happens. Like, this is not far off.
So I don't know. I think it sounds great. It sounds like the song. It sounds really cool. I like those kinds of effects, but I don't know if the KHDK is like the only way to do it. Okay.
I'm still on this thing that this might be the new kind of... So let me just riff on this one more time. The mistake they've made here is they put knobs and controls on it.
Oh, you think so?
Because
that it should just be preset to only play digital bath.
Just plays digital bath in that exact tempo because it's a delay, right? Because then no, obviously that would suck, but that would be so fun. I would have the balls on them if they'd have done that. You know what I mean? Because this is probably a legit delay.
Oh, probably. We want to make it into a piece of shit.
It would be the fart pedal of signature song pedals, right? It would be like, fuck you, everybody.
Yeah.
I would love, actually, if KHDK would lean in. And now this one's fine. Okay, $250, great, do your thing.
Yeah.
I want to see another one that's $99.99 and the controls are gone. This is what I want. And they're like, the fuck you edition. You know what?
Yeah.
You really like it? All right.
It's like, you got to call it something really pretentious too. It's like the derived edition or something like that, right? It's the purest setting.
Right. Like name it after the exact day the song was recorded or something, right? It's the digital bath, 6/21, 1999.
Right, yeah. Anyway.
Studio B.
So, I don't know. It sounds cool. Whatever.
Yeah. Okay. We anxiously await to see if this becomes a thing. But also, I have to juxtapose that against everything else that's in here. The Avenged Sevenfold pedal, the Death Screamer by Creator. I almost didn't know how to read that. V-Man of Slipknot, Mad Monarch by Gary Holt. Okay. A hat. Necromancer coffee beans. What is this? This one doesn't appear to be named after somebody. I don't know. Okay, never mind. I'm going to stop talking about this now.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I can't explain it. Look, I thought, hey, the show needs a little punch in the arm, a little topic, a little, poignant, relevant conversation to the community.
I also saw this next topic when it came through the news, and I thought it was pretty interesting and read the article. And
I wanted to get your take on this.
Also excited to hear about to see this and show up in the show notes. So
yeah, tell me everything.
What song would this pedal be? Mellencamp.
I was gonna say I'm feeling Mellencamp or like a Springsteen, like that kind of zone, the dad rock
Could
thing.
Be, yeah.
I can tell you that is F sharp G and A. Is that weird? Like I don't have perfect pitch, but I just know that.
Yeah, with an instrument you play all the time, absolutely, you can get relative enough pitch.
You can hear it's like open.
You can hear which strings are open, so you know what's going on. Absolutely. Okay. All right, next up, the Peacekeeper.
Lay it on me.
So Celestion made a speaker that is supposed to sound like a loud amp speaker. A speaker being played loudly when it is quiet. And it has, I think the trick was double voice coils to just soak up a ton of energy that never makes it into sound. So to basically like, but I mean, physics is physics. Like energy has to go somewhere.
That energy,
So basically it has double voice coils to just turn more of that energy into heat and not into vibration. That's physically what's happening there, right? So it's a 50-watt speaker. Low sensitivity, 86 decibels, quieter than a lawnmower at max volume. And
really? I didn't see that.
Well, I'm just saying that because like lawnmowers are into the 90s.
86 dB, yeah.
86 decibels.
My Apple Watch gives me a little, hey buddy, at 90 dB.
So this wouldn't even set off your Apple Watch. You'd be at band practice and your Apple Watch would be like, hey, it's okay, Derek. Everybody's keeping the peace in here.
Because I'll be ripping on the 112 I have, and I'll get pinged for it sometimes if I'm having a lot of fun. Yeah. But wow,
I think it is.
I didn't look at it that closely.
Is it supposed to sound like one of those heavier duty? It's not a. Is it a greenback?
I don't think it's supposed to be a greenback or anything like that. I think it's just a speaker.
G12 Peacekeeper. I think it is. My take on it was that it was supposed to have the sonic profile that of one of those that people really like. Probably the higher wattage version of the greenback.
So the G12 comes in greenback, the creamback, the EVH, there's a bunch of different G12s.
Well, I know, but Okay, like I get it. But they all, in my opinion, I've always kind of felt like all those G12s have they're going for a particular thing. Like,
yeah,
they're kind of similar.
Yeah.
They tend to have different sort of power handling and stuff like that. So 50 watt power rating.
I'm just looking at all these speakers I've never even heard of.
8 ohms. Resonance is 80 hertz. So it's pretty typical. It's like in the zone. It's adjacent to what a typical guitar speaker.
So like, what do we think about this though? Who's this for? What is it for? Is it for playing live? Is it for playing live mic'd? Like, or is it for studio? Like, what is it? Is it for home?
Studio, it could be really good. I mean, I think I would love to see in person, because I'm not sure that I'm cork sniffy enough to really be like, yeah, but we can't really get this sound unless we actually turn the amp all the way. Like power conditioner or power soaks, power breaks, whatever they're called, like that doesn't do it for me, because I actually need the speaker to freak out. Because that's what this is supposed to do. It's supposed to freak out, because you are literally making the speaker get to its max loudness at a lower volume, right?
Right.
And you're definitely like, the mic shouldn't care, because you're not like changing things about what the mic's picking up because of how loud it is. So it's like the speaker, but is some of what you hear from a super loud speaker, is some of that, these by the way, since we just talked about the Helix Stadium, this is some of the exact shit that they're getting rid of with the hype knob, right? Where they're like, but we can make it perfect, or you can leave that imperfection stuff in. It's like, I remember, going back to old Coheed records and being like, oh, like we're definitely in the days before modelers now. I can hear that this one chord is resonating differently in the wood box that they're recording, and that's a level of stuff. It's like the hype knob is all the way down on that, you know what I mean? And so will this cause that though? Because it's not just the paper in the speaker, right? Some of it is the wood box. And so at that point, you still wouldn't get that part of it with this. So is it a desperate attempt to stay relevant in a world of modeling?
I wasn't even going there, but that's an interesting take. I don't know. I mean, if as loud as it gets is quieter than my Rev at 5 watts or 4 watts or whatever it is, then like, I don't know. In 2025, there's appeal for that, I think.
Yeah. I think the main...
There's also... Go ahead.
Well, I think the main thing is a little bit less... Like, how to make a speaker be quiet or make an amp be quiet already. We have that tech already. I think what's new here is that it will sound like the speaker's getting desperate, even at the lower volume. So that's the issue. It's like people know how to, like you said, 5 watts. You can make your amp get desperate because you just have an amp that does that or has a break on it. Yeah. So now we've got something where even with a louder amp, you can make the speaker sound desperate lower. So.
I don't know. I don't trust myself enough to do, like, I'm going to fall for that whole thing. The louder one is better because it's louder and it's like more powerful and like, I know I do that. Like, I know.
Oh, we'd have to record them.
That's what I mean. Like in the room, it'd be hard to really know, I think, because of just like, I mean, I guess you could dial them in so they're approximately the same, but I'm just so curious. Like, is there a version of, how do we scientifically test this? Like, what speaker do we put in the cab of the one that is not the Peacekeeper, right?
So you'd have the Peace, because you couldn't just make them the same volume in the room, but that's advantage Peacekeeper every time, right?
Yes.
Because it sounds louder when it's, or you know what I mean? So the question would be, you would actually find the sweet spot. They use that word in their copy here. It's dial your amplifier up to its sweet spot while keeping the decibel levels down. Okay, well that's actually, now that I read that again, they're sort of, I maybe not understanding them fully, but like you would find the sweet spot for the amp. Okay, so we would take one amp, connect it to this speaker, we know the amp sweet spot or whatever, we'll just assume, and we record it, and then we connect it to a different speaker. Now it's louder, but the amp is still in its sweet spot. And we assume then the speaker is in its sweet spot because that's just how these sorts of things work, because they're 8 ohm speakers with a similar load. And then record them and level match after. So then we'd play them back and be like, okay, because these should sound relatively the same.
But I'm curious
and
if
the
like
differences,
how the same they would sound.
Yeah.
Based on them just being different speaker types. Like a vintage 30 sounds different than a greenback.
Right, because they don't tell you which one. Right, exactly. Is it a vintage? Do we compare it against a vintage 30? So maybe I'm kind of thinking about it the wrong way, because my interpretation obviously is what I was saying, but I reread their copy and it sounds like
you're correct in that, like the measurement of it and stuff. But I think it's still the sonic profile of the speaker that is not clear, at least to me right now. That feels like this level of like wanting to do a scientific test on this is like totally unnecessary.
Way over the line.
Way over. But like
Alex asking though, why is it a 12-inch speaker? It's a 12-inch speaker, in my opinion. Take that for what you will. It's this bit here, the resonant frequency, and the frequency range. So the like speaker frame has a resonant frequency, and that dramatically impacts what guitar speakers sound like to me. Like in my opinion, like I don't mind using 5-watt amps and all that stuff to make things quieter, but like a 10-inch speaker never sounds right to me if I'm trying to do certain guitar like it always sounds like, I shouldn't say right, it always sounds like a 10-inch speaker to me, whereas a 12-inch speaker is, much more the classic guitar speaker sound. And it's that it's the way that profile kind of hits. And they're not all 12-inch speakers are 80 hertz. Some are like 75 or 90 or something, but they're in that zone. And 10-inch speakers are going to be have a higher resonant frequency, and not be able to reach as deep. Can you tell when a bass is being played through a cab of 10s? But that's different. That's different. Because
that's very different.
The 10-inch speaker has a different resonant frequency, but it's a totally different instrument and a different kind of amplifier style that's playing when it's bass. So, like, I don't love 15s on guitar either.
Oh, I do. Like maybe not to record or make music with, but like
I'm sure somebody could create a cool sound with one, but for me that's not sort of the
it's not it.
But with bass, I don't know. With bass, I like the big stacks of 10s, but 15s don't bother me in the same way. It's like, oh, 15s. I mean, okay,
sure.
It's kind of different, but again, I can kind of tell that they're different. I guess I have less
like you just said, I think it's the kind of standard canonical guitar tone or the canonical bass tone of like rock music. Yeah, it was made with 12-inch speakers for guitar and 10-inch speakers for bass a lot of the time. So I think like maybe that has been
at least from when I was younger.
That's what I mean. Like the music you work on.
Yeah. For bass, I think definitely 15s are more popular at first. But it was also, you were dealing with a world of older amplifiers. They were trying to make things loud enough. They didn't necessarily have PAs even back then all the time. So it was like your bass, you needed to bring like, they would have some of those like folded back like reflex speakers and stuff like that. And they'd be playing their amplifiers into those with like a horn attached to it or something.
FRFR, yeah, I see what you're saying, but that's also about a power situation in some cases, like the Class D power for that getting like super effing loud. It's a PA speaker too, so it's like different, this being a guitar amp speaker that's just quieter is still a different thing. So it still belongs in a speaker cab for guitar, but it's not a full range flat response speaker.
Yeah, so it's right. I mean, you're actually playing a guitar amplifier into this. Like if you connected a PA speaker to this, it would sound insane. If you look at the frequency response, it's ridiculous. It's like that's what guitar speakers look like, which is why you need.
But like this is also not to. You can't put your Helix into this. Like it's not for that either.
Well, you could if you deleted the speaker model out of the chain, right? If you were just feeding it amp model and no speaker or mic.
Correct, but there would have to be a powered cab.
Right, which you don't really have. So, but if you were feeding it into like a power amp and anyway, blah, blah, blah.
Correct. Yeah, so there's a million ways to actually do that, for sure.
Yeah. The FRFR cab works because at the end of your modeler chain, there is a filter that's essentially applying a similar frequency response as this speaker's frequency response, because that's what we're used to. That's what amps were developed to play into.
All right, my impulse response is that,
And it includes a mic and stuff, which is really clever and simplifies the process while giving you more at the same time. And have we talked about how clever impulse response is? Because it is.
I mean,
clever.
yes, I don't understand them still, but like I don't need to, because like I just am pleased to exist at the same time they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's cool.
So anyway, the Peacekeeper. Keeping the peace since 2025.
I am a little bit curious. My sense is that I'm just never going to encounter one of these.
I never will either. Yeah, like are they going to ship in cabs? That's the thing. Like this would have to be a replacement thing, most likely. I really doubt anyone's going to want to buy a cab that's like now quieter.
Yeah, right? It's which is that
How
brought
do you
me
sell
to
this to a bunch of people that want to be loud.
That brought me to the comment earlier of, is this a desperate attempt to relevance? Like,
yeah,
you know, line 6 is like, for our next version, everything's amazinger and there's jelly on it now. And Celestion's like, but wait.
Have we tried this?
For real amps.
For the rest of us.
For real amps, there is this, you know, because I feel like, you know, I'm unlikely to encounter one of these because the people I know who have and use real amps aren't looking to, they're not like, you know what's wrong with this?
How loud
it's louder than 86 decibels, you know? Yeah. They have not switched to a modeler yet, not because they weren't available or didn't sound good, right? And then the people who have switched to modelers are not going, finally, I can sell all this stuff I bought and switch back to amps.
Yeah.
So it is a funny little solution to that I, you know, what if they'd made this 15 years ago?
Yeah.
They would have been on the fucking precipice, you know?
I know. God, what a question.
They could have slowed down amp modeling by 5 years. With this one move, you know, it would have been like, who killed the electric car? But for modeling amps.
Oh man, like you could buy a Celestion 412, but it's all just quiet as fuck.
Yeah. And you're there. It's like the sound of my, you know what my amp needs? It needs 150 watts of power handling or something, you know, whatever. And I can't get it in these small little speakers. But look what happened.
I mean, this big-ass motherfucker.
Look at this fuck. You know what I love about this is it's heavy, but also quiet. God, this is starting to sound so stupid.
I know, man. We're the worst.
I wish I could switch to an amp system that was still heavy and large and unwieldy, but made less noise, so it doesn't even justify its own mass. Nice. The icing on the cake is too much physical trauma can tear it.
Nice.
You know, let's see your amp modeler do this. Torn speaker. Well, frankly, though, they can just record a fucking IR of a torn speaker. Oh my God.
Let's see your tube amp do this, or your Helix do this. Fucking explodes. Anyway.
Your Helix is great, but does it break when you pour a beer on it? Yes.
Those, like, I love those really, like, comparing two things that seem at first like worth comparing. It's like not even in the same fucking universe. I love that.
Fantastic.
Shall we?
I did find that speaker really interesting, and now
it is really
but
interesting.
Here I feel like I've completely fucking turned around on the thing. Now I'm like, what the fuck were they thinking?
Did you like undermine
what a waste of engineering?
Your own view on it?
I am really like circling the drain, and the drain is Celestion is like, but please, you know, I can't think of any other reason for them to have worked on this. It's so late. But I read it
a little
like
late.
A week and a half ago. I read this article and I was like, whoa, cool. What a wild, here's an idea no one's had yet. And now I'm like, guess why?
But again, like now, My question is, who's going to buy this?
Yeah.
And like, what do they do with it, right? Are you going to say, I've got this 212 that I love, but it's just too loud. And then you throw a couple of these in it, fundamentally change the way it sounds because it is a different speaker profile.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I got to hear, we got to hear it too. We got to know.
Yeah. What if it sounds like shit?
What have I got? I think I have a vintage 30 and then one of those heritage ones.
A blackback?
Should I look at the back?
A G12H75, one of those?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have, because I had a 412 of those and I kept one.
Right.
Actually, I
remember that.
I think I kept two, but one of them has a tear.
You kept two, but one was broken, right?
Yeah, one was broken. It doesn't sound that great. I think it actually sounded okay for a while, but the break is starting to set in. So, so I have and they are very similar to me. Like there's a difference, but it's not huge. So it's a 75 watt from 1975 or whatever. You know, this like real old thing, and then there's a modern. Vintage 30, 60 watt, which I got from Avatar, who makes those custom cabs. And it's one of their Helitone ones that they do a break-in process on. They don't charge extra for it. I really am highly skeptical of a break-in process on a speaker, but I did it because they don't charge extra for it.
Yeah, okay.
And I have mic'd it up and like moved it back and forth, and it's like a little different. But I don't know if I could tell you exactly how it's different.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
With a pretty close ear. I think it's functionally the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if you had
operationally the same.
One or the other is not going to make your sound different, in my opinion. Right. You know what I mean? Like it's
it's a thing. Good thing the amp has an EQ knob, right? Good thing.
Yeah, and every room you know guitar amp speakers and shit, every room you go into, when we were doing this, like I think it's probably a little different now when you're direct into PAs all the time, right? And into your in-ears. But when we would go into any room with like proper amp, you change little things about it. Sometimes the bass is a little thunderous and you roll it back. Sometimes you're in a different shaped room and you feel like you got more room for the bass to breathe or something like that. And that can come up a little bit.
When I was playing in Delaney, the room we were rehearsing in just like sucked all the bass out of my amp. It was a very weird experience. And I was like, oh, I guess I need to turn that up.
Oh, you were in a node, dude. You were just standing. If you had walked 4 feet to the left, you'd have been like, my amp has nothing but bass.
Let her rip. So,
yeah.
I think it's like, technologically speaking, a cool thing. Right, I like that it exists as a thing. It's just, is it too late? I was not even thinking of this before you showed up, but now I'm like,
well, like you've got a 112 cab behind you.
I do,
and
with a vintage 30 in it.
With a vintage 30 in it. So here's the thing: what if, and you have like your amps that are 5 or 20 watts or something on a switch, things like that. What if you just haven't achieved quiet enough yet, and this speaker is the last fucking piece of the chain? You know what I mean? So if 5 watts, but I can't do that while anybody's sleeping, and then this one just kicks that golf ball right into the cup. You know,
and especially for those times when I can't just use the headphone out directly on the fucking front of my amp because it has an IR loader inside of it.
Fucking late.
That's what I mean.
It might be the perfect speaker. Here's where I was going with this. This might be the perfect speaker for me, who doesn't ever play out. This speaker only gets used here. There is no need for me to make it loud.
That's what I mean. Who's it for? Is it studio guys? Probably is it like to put it in a cab? Or is it's I don't think guitarists as a species like are gonna want a quieter setup.
No.
I'm kind of joking, but also kind of not. Like, I know there are plenty of use cases for playing more quietly, but we've solved those.
Yeah. And other ways that are easier and don't mean you still have to carry something that's just as heavy and big as the loud thing.
Exactly. I'm not kidding when I say my Rev has a headphone out on the front, and it has 6 cabinets loaded on an encoder right on the front. I have the same one I use in my Helix in there.
Celestion Peacekeeper.
No. Could you imagine getting an IR of this?
Can you hold on? Wait. Conversation not over. All right. Your mission, dear
Get an
world,
IR.
we need to get an IR of a no shit 812. I need a full stack of Peacekeepers. I want it with 4 different mic positions. Somebody make it. Where is Fluff? Is he not?
I mean, probably living his life, but
he's trying to rebuild his room, right? Didn't his room burn down or something? Anyway,
it did. Yeah.
Never mind. When you get your room up, I'm counting on you to build. I feel like he's the guy. He's going to find this thing and build the
scientific
IR.
attest. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, that'd be
and
so
then publish
funny.
the
Get an
IRs.
IR of a quieter speaker so you can play it even quieter.
But it's all volume matched at the fucking back end of all these things. It'd be so good. I would love for somebody to actually publish an IR that is just something
really
else.
funny.
It's just a vintage
That'd be
30.
really.
And they're like, this is the Peacekeeper one. But of course, I level matched it because you don't want to deal with that when you're doing your in the box recording. So I level matched it for you. It's a vintage 30.
It's just the same IR.
Yeah.
It's like the same
It's
fucking
literally
one.
like if you recorded with both and inverted the polarity, you'd be silent.
It says vintage 30 parentheses 1. Okay. Should we carry on? Should we get out of here?
Yes, we do.
We got things of the week.
We got things of the week. All right. I play a sound for that, right? All right.
Yeah. Oh, fucking with the bass?
Yeah, there's bass in here.
Yeah, remember when I used to write riffs?
There was still 20 more seconds of that. I had to call it quits. So
I got a thing of the week. I see you also have a thing of the week. We have two TV shows.
We picked TV shows this week. All right.
My
here
pick is Delicious in Dungeon. This is a TV series it's an anime series on Netflix. It's a Netflix original. I'm not sure.
Sweet. I need a reason to keep my Netflix subscription because I don't want to get rid of it. But there's nothing I'm watching.
Yeah, I've been trying
now,
to So I think you might enjoy this. So this is really funny because the world that this story takes place in is governed by the rules of D&D.
Nice.
But you're from the character view. It's not about the players, it's about the characters the characters are playing. Or the characters the players are playing, sorry.
Yeah.
And so they, at the very beginning of the series, the whole elevator pitch of it is that they get to a fight and lose and die and respawn early in the dungeon and have to get through the dungeon again to find their lost party mate or whatever it is.
Okay. Yeah.
And each episode, they're getting deeper into the dungeon and picking up party members and doing that whole D&D thing.
Yeah.
But also, for some fucking reason, they eat all the monsters they encounter. One of them is the dwarf they find who lives kind of in the dungeon and hangs out there. They're encountering other parties on their journey through the dungeon and stuff. He lives in there and hunts the monsters in the dungeon and eats them and writes cookbooks and recipes and stuff. So 50% of every episode is about food and how they're going to manage to cook the monster to survive extended stays in the dungeon.
Very nice.
It's so ridiculous, but it's got all those kind of classic anime style, the stylistic tropes and stuff, which is very funny. It's laugh out loud funny sitcom-y as well. And just fun adventure comedy stuff. So it's called Delicious in Dungeon, and I don't even know what it's about, honestly. It's the fucking D&D.
I mean, the logo has a fork in it, so
it's half food for some reason. Just all in-universe food. Yeah.
Absolutely outstanding. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Going on my list. All right, my TV show is going to be... It's very popular, so I don't know. Nobody's Murderbot. Everybody's talking about this. It took me ages to decide to start watching it. I wanted Marielle to watch it with me, so I kind of worked her down here. But eventually, I got her to check it out, and she committed after one episode. So
okay,
it was good enough.
I've been trying to get Beth on this. I was like, oh, another book I read got turned into an Apple thing. I want to watch it. What do you think?
Yeah, she doesn't always go for all the sci-fi stuff. But this one's got some. It's humorous. It's not totally just a comedy, but it's definitely from like a chuckling and then a few big laughs kind of perspective. But there's a lot of character development. So basically, we're following Alexander Skarsgård, who is a cyborg. He has human and robot parts. He's built by this company. It's a little bit like super future dystopian, where there's a company who sort of everybody has to kind of work for, and expeditions like throughout the galaxy.
Like megacorp.
Yeah, it's some kind of. It's a multi-planetary society at this point, multi-system. They're traveling with wormholes. There's a bunch of blah 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 in it, and but you have to buy the company's stuff. You essentially rent the company's stuff to go do research to get paid in order to be able to live your life. So you're sort of beholden to the company all the time, kind of thing. And they make these droids. These not droids. That's copyrighted.
These androids.
These are security bots, and they are cyborgs. They have human parts built in with all of their mechanical stuff. They can get repaired, and basically you have to have one of these to keep you safe. But then from here, the nefarious mysteries can begin to unfold from that setting, and this guy, this particular one, right at the beginning, turns off the little module. He figures out how to turn off the module in his cyborg brain that forces him to follow orders. But then immediately realizes that if he just stops following orders, people will find out that he did that and he'll be melted down for scrap. So, and then we go on. So he hilariously just doesn't give a shit about humans and hates them a lot. And we hear inside his head basically the whole show. So.
Yeah, I read it's a short story series, I think. I read the first one and really enjoyed it. There's like 6 or 7, I think. That could be very wrong, but there's plenty of installments of it in the written form, so I do intend to watch it. Yeah. I really enjoyed the book.
It seems I did not read the books or know about them ahead of time, but it's really well. It plays really well, like everything Apple's doing. Basically, these are making good shows. So it's very cool. It looks cool, and I can't wait to find out what happens. I'm like 3 or 4 episodes in, but they do good. They drop good cliffhangers too. So we keep circling back. And playing 2 in a row kind of thing. So, okay. All right. That's it. Go do the things and watch TV
some
shows.
TV.
Watch some TV. It's good for you. Maybe. I don't know.
You sound like my kid.
All right. Well, we've done it. You know what I think, did we forget to send a swag bag to whoever won the vote last time? So here's the thing.
Did.
I tried an experiment and it screwed up the vote because I let people pick more than one. I was sort of hoping that we would just get more votes that would trickle down to an eventual winner. But there was a 3-way tie. Right? So I think I'll probably just throw a dice and we'll send to one of them. We'll make sure it's somebody who hasn't won yet or something like that.
Correct.
Right?
Cool. And then I think we mentioned this last time. We're taking the giveaway structure kind of offline for a little bit to figure some new things out to do with it. But we'll be back with it. And we also got to save up a little money.
Yeah, we have to slow the pace just a little bit. We don't want the prizes to get less cool. So we'll slow the pace. We'll keep it going. A couple of refinements to technique that I think are very, very good ideas. And we'll be back with that soon. So we'll send. I'll say in the next. We'll pick one of those 3. Yeah. I'll send out some things to whoever that was.
We're wrapping up 295. We're closing in on 300. Yeah. For the tone control here. So let us know, I guess, if you want, or feel like we should do anything cool for that, or maybe a guest. I don't know. So that question is floated to you as well, Justin. A live producers meeting.
We should do something a little different at the very least. A few ideas float through my head, like a couple of guests. We've talked about a few, and we rarely actually pull the trigger and do one for various reasons. But there's also I ideas of things that would involve the community a little more and stuff too. So maybe something that's a little bit more inward. I don't know. These are options. We could do all of them if we wanted to.
Right on. Want to hear from you in the community too. So hop in Discord and you can get at us there.
Yeah, find links in the show notes and do all the things and join Patreon. Kicking a buck or two a month into this would help the prize fund, which directly controls how often we can do prizes. So
right, yeah.
That's what I'll say there.
We don't want to reduce the value of the giveaway for the winners. Like we don't want to suddenly like here you want a pack of strings and the guy 2 weeks ago won a pedal board. Like that's not what we want. So we're working on that kind of thing. But yeah, more soon.
Yep. Okay. And that's fine. And we'll circle back on that stuff. And until then, you've done a great job of listening to this episode. Congratulations. And for a few select people of you, you've also done a great job of supporting the show. And then Derek reacted suddenly because he's changing a name right as I read it. And the Patreon supporters are Mediocre Mike, Rabbi Bob, Carpin Carenter, Carson Ricketts, Matthew Fenslaw, Ryzen Wolf, Beakow 69420, Seven Nation Andy, Sean Wright of Lollygagger Effects, and In Between Names.
Oh, sorry. Seven Nation Andy is now Average Andrew, I think.
Average Andrew, I think.
Average Andrew D2. There we go.
Average Andrew D2. All right.
Fixing it.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, guys. See you next time.
Thanks. See you next time.